And that's why I was like, why do I need new pants when I have all these buckets of paint? You know?
Yeah, well, that seems logical, right?
You just, what color? You know, you paint on the zipper and you're totally fine. Anywho, how are you guys doing today?
Good. It's a nice hot August day here.
You got air conditioning?
Yes, we do. In fact, it was almost too cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're done. We're done here. Thanks for everything.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
You have to go outside to get warm.
Oh my gosh. So the title of your show is
Woman Caught Unaware.
Woman Caught Unaware. Tell me a bit about it. Tell me, like, whose idea was Woman Caught Unaware?
Well, it's written by Annie Fox.
Okay.
She's American, I believe, living and lives in UK now. It's vaguely based on a true story.
Okay.
Do you remember a couple of years ago, there was a photo that went viral. It was a former Playboy playmate took a photo in a ladies' change room at a gym.
Yes.
Okay.
And is she fat shamed? She was fat shaming somebody?
Age shamed a 70-year-old naked woman in the background behind her, and the woman that took the photo was charged and and found guilty and given a sentence. So it's basically based on that, in which Davina it's a one-woman show, and Davina is playing the woman in the background.
And what that means to have your image put out into the world when you didn't put it out.
That is, so both of my children, we don't use their names online.
Right.
For the same reasons. That is interesting. Pardon?
And Byron, right?
Yeah. Stacy and Little Trent Jr.
Yeah, but it rhymes with Stacy and Little Trent Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually Spacey and Big Trent Jr.
Right.
Yeah, because she's humongous. She's like 7'2".
So you decided as a family not to put their images out on
Exactly. So dealing with that, which is extremely current, and the fact that I remembered it.
Yeah.
Then how do you go about it? Like, you're directing? Trevor? Yeah, you're directing. How do you go about? Do you start, like, because it's obviously a play, but like, how do you build up to that moment? Was it difficult for you, or when you saw the script you were like, bam, I got it?
I was actually researching scripts, and I found a play that I was interested in for my own company. And so I ordered this book that had 3 plays in it that had all won a contest, the solo plays. And one of the plays that I wanted to read was this one. So I read it and I was like, this is a really great play, but it's quite short. It's only 12 pages long. It only runs about 40 minutes or so. And I thought, oh, it doesn't quite work for my company. And so when Fringe was all reshifted and reimagined, what is it this year? I said, hey, I've got this great play that you might be interested in. And so she read it, and I think it spoke to you.
Yeah, it's an interesting year, this Fringe, because it was, shows should be under 60 minutes, should be small casts. And here at the Varscona, we don't usually, I say we because I also work here as communications director, we don't usually have one-person shows on this stage, because the stage that is so big and the venue itself is so big that we encourage it to be large shows, so people can produce the show that they wouldn't normally produce during the rest of the year. So, but it just came up that, hey, we have this opportunity in this venue, and we had a couple of groups that we thought were going to come in, didn't. And suddenly I went, I think I should do this show. I think this would be a really great year for it.
It sounds like the perfect time too.
Yeah, it's a really interesting subject matter, but the writing is really beautiful as well. It's not just about, oh my God, I'm naked and the world knows. It's about an art history professor, and her whole life is about looking at the naked body. I shouldn't say whole life, but a lot of the artwork that is considered masterpieces are quite often depictions of women, young women, beautiful women, flirting, being ravished or raped or seduced. Exactly. How do we deal with that as we get older? But also, what are the depictions that we see of the women, and how are they placed in the artwork, and how does that reflect on us as a society?
How do we relate to
Yeah.
a body that is no longer sexually viable, is no longer attractive,
What we assume
is attractive, and also the
Yeah.
idea of women after a certain age being erased or vanishing in society's observation of them.
So, and it's a really interesting structure because it's not 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all you need.
Well, yeah. Sorry, just so many questions jumped into my head. People are coming out of this now with identity issues. People are trying to figure out who they are over again after a year and a half. It sounds very apropos to the time that this is happening. I'm so glad it's not about a pandemic. But
sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
It also deals a lot about how we think we're perceived, and then suddenly, bam, you find out how other people actually perceive you, which is not how you thought you were coming across. I thought I was confident. I thought I was strong. I thought I was all these things, and people go, oh, suddenly you go, oh, they think I'm old and feeble and non-relevant any longer. And so there's that kind of having to come to terms with those two different perceptions and how do those come together. So it is about self-identity,
and it's about objectification too.
Yes,
because they took away her humanity. That person took away her grandchildren, her children, her partner, everybody that she loves, and
it's fascinating too because there's a number of people who come out to support this woman and feel that they're champion her cause and making her, the poster child for the issue of people's identity being taken away from them. And like, what's the problem? We could do this and raise money for these charities. And
we want to protect you, but we also want to exploit you in order to protect you.
Right.
We need to publicize the photos so that people know the story. People know the story. And then we can protect you from it.
We need to re-victimize you, but for good reasons.
But for good reasons.
We consider good reasons.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And now you should do more nude photos because that would be brave and owning it. That's you can self-empower yourself.
Yeah, because you've decided to put yourself out in this nude picture. Now you own your image and you have your power back. So when is it your power? There we go.
This sounds so.
And it's a comedy and a music.
and it's just nudity.
That's all tap dance and nudity. Everything's on the offbeat. Yeah, there's always that.
But we do have a nudity warning. We do.
Yeah, there is nudity.
Warning that there won't be nudity, or a warning that there will be.
There will be.
That's not a warning.
Yeah.
That's like, sign me up.
That says we're gonna sell out tickets. No.
So for me as a performer, aging during COVID, transitioning to the next chapter or volume of my life, I stopped coloring my hair well before COVID, and so during COVID, the transition I think went even more, right? So now I don't even cut my hair. So
I'm constantly saying, fix your hair, please. I can't look at it like that. Like it's.
I've started cutting my own hair.
But it's interesting how that has become a movement for women of a certain age.
Empowerment.
Yeah, it's an empowerment of and showing that on their own social media feeds as to who they really are. For me, it was a moment, I think it was in I can't remember, 17, 18 when I started. 18 maybe? Yeah. I saw a photo of myself and went, oh, with my hair colored, and went, wow, I don't look like how I think I look. And I don't look authentic, whatever that meant to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I went, I need to be me and who I am in this moment. And so from when I stopped coloring my hair, because that's a whole transition in itself. You can't just stop.
Because it has to grow out.
And I think, there's a process for that of acceptance as well. For someone who's now experienced that, you need to be mentally prepared for the responses that you're going to get. And what was interesting for me was I had so many people tell me how great it looked. And then they talked about themselves, about, oh, what about doing that? Yeah, I want to do that too, but I don't know how. It was a moment of, well, if you want to do it, you'll do it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. All you have to do is not do something. Yeah. That's all it takes. And to care about, the hard part is on the inside. The outside will take care of itself.
Yeah, that'll grow out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting experience realizing that I was making that choice, and I had made the choice before, and now I was making a different choice. And what that meant for me as a performer, and how people now see me. People have met me with dark hair. I look younger with dark hair. Some people say, oh, you look younger now with white hair. Some people say blonde hair, but really, no, it's white hair. So if people are meeting me now, do they see me as, oh, you mean that woman, that old woman with white hair who dresses too young? Or
that's the thing. Like people they don't really, people they're close to, they don't see them as they age. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't see them grow. They just see them as that. Like my wife will always be when she was when we got married. That and she will be. But I'm just. But what I mean is, I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to be like that. I'm just like the imprint on my soul is her there, and she will always be that beautiful person. But if you.
I've known you for like so many years, but I don't think of you with dark hair any longer. Oh, like I just don't think of you that way.
I didn't even. It didn't even register to me.
It's like Linda Grass, our friend, used to have dyed black hair, and now she's got white hair, and I never think of her with dark hair anymore.
There's a moment in the play where the character Mary.
Thank you for bringing it back to the play, by the way. Thank you for doing my job.
She says, in my dreams, I'm not old. In my dreams, I'm in my mid-30s.
Oh my gosh.
In my dreams, I'm this.
Yeah, that moment between memory and something else. I can't remember, but it's, she says I'm forever in that imagination and memory.
That confusing thing of memory and imagination. It's like, I see myself always midlife, that, like you said, that.
And she says, sometimes I'm back in my childhood bedroom, and sometimes I'm in the home that I was first married in my dreams, and I'm that age.
But it's like, oh, what age are you when you dream? How do you see yourself? So it's about, that perspective of yourself and what you think you are, and then that moment when you get to see yourself from this way and go, oh, I'm not. Oh.
And look at what people are saying about me, and.
Yeah.
It's like I will always be a little boy to my mom, right? That type of thing. So
or the young family.
This is stunning. This is wonderful. And it's 60 minutes.
No,
40.
40. Well, that sucks. No, I'm just kidding. It has to be the rule was under. Did you find that 40 was just enough?
40 is too much right now. He's like, I'm trying to learn my lines.
So give me the elevator pitch. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. What's the Varscona? Is that the one with the pavilion, the Nathan Fillion pavilion thingy? Is that the one? Tell me a bit about your play. Give me the elevator pitch. I got to get going. I got to pick up the kids. They're at sword school. Give me the elevator.
When people ask me about the play, I immediately reference that original photo because everyone heard about that. I've not yet run into anyone that goes, I don't know what that's about. Yeah. So I say it's basically the story about the woman in the background who they never identified her at the time, and lucky for her. But I think that's far more interesting than hearing about that self-centered and sort of inconsequential woman in the foreground. We know what happened to her. She got punished. That's good. But I think everyone wants to know the story of that woman in the background, and I think it's a really powerful sort of meditation on aging. You talked about being with your friends the other night around a campfire or something.
Yeah, it was interesting. The topics and subjects came up just naturally, and I had to go. These are lines from the show that I made.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
That's great.
The idea of, yeah, who am I now that I'm not that person that I used to be? How do I negotiate the world? And it's different than when you're, I think, a teenager moving into young adulthood. It's a different kind of transition.
Yeah.
But it's another one to celebrate, right? Like
Totally.
we don't celebrate we used to celebrate retirement, but I think, when you're 65, what is that? It's becoming something different now. Because I think the rock and roll kids are now in their 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
50s, from the 1950s. So they still color their hair. I look at the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger. I go, wow, he's 70 something.
150. Long after dead.
But
he was never born.
Yeah. But it's interesting when you realize, wow, those men are still coloring their hair.
Yeah.
Do they have to do that? Would the audiences still come to see them? Would they accept them if they have moved forward, transitioned? What do we see as age now? What is, that next chapter?
What are the limitations of age?
And who
puts those on you? Yeah.
It's like gender. It's like, or sexuality. We're starting to understand that. Just be fucking happy. What's wrong with that? No matter how old you are, no matter what's good, like people. And then there's people who are extremely uncomfortable with their thoughts and change, which has become prevalent in the past year and a half. But yeah, I want to see the play. I really want to see it, and I want to read the script.
Yeah.
Too. Like, it just sounds like such an intriguing idea, such a perfect inspired moment for her to Annie Fox, you said.
Yes.
Like what a perfect thing to write about, to pluck out of history and boom.
It's her first play as well. She's an actress and a teacher. She's not young. She's probably our age, and she teaches writing. But this is her first play.
Oh wow.
She just found me yesterday on Instagram and Twitter, and she's like promoting our production. She's so excited that it's the Canadian premiere of the play.
Only 5 people can come.
we have a big house capacity.
Oh, that's good. What is your capacity for the show?
120. Sorry,
120.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
And we have like 10 performances.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
That's great.
I can't remember right now.
That's cool.
So it's interesting Fringe as well, because there's not as many plays this year, because it's been difficult to make that commitment so far in advance to get it together, as you know, to rehearse script, rights, just how many people can be on stage in a room in a theater. So I think it'll be an interesting addition to the buffet of the Fringe event this year.
From the interviews that I've been doing so far, this is a different play.
Yeah.
So, and it's different
for
for all the good reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, I said I think this is a good choice because it will be so different than everything else that's being presented.
It's so unique for our Fringe event this year, that our festival is known as being a theater festival. I know other Fringe festivals can be the comedy festival, the sketch festival, the improv festival, and this year it has become, I think, a little bit more that way. Comedy, stand up.
It's the easier thing to do, to rehearse, and there's no shame in it. But I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
No rehearsal, no overhead, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So it'll be a fascinating, as I said, event to see. Our audiences here at the Fringe like to see plays. So, it's just different. It'll be different this year.
The nice thing about this Fringe is that the people that are going to go see the shows are going to want to be there. Yeah. It's not going to be like, oh, we're going to just go down to the Fringe grounds. We'll pick whatever. There's going to be dedicated people who are going to go out of their way to see the quality. So I think that will come across in your houses, hopefully. I got to wrap this up. Yeah. Anything that I didn't cover that you want to mention? Anything that I didn't ask that I should have?
Tickets are available on Eventron?
No, at the Fringe.
At the Fringe.
Okay.
That's what you'll probably be saying to everybody.
Go ahead, Trevor.
And about 42 minutes, I think, is sort of the running time.
Oh, that's a lot of 42 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's the Jackie Robinson sports reference of 42. Thank you both very much for this. I'm looking forward to seeing it, if not just on video, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. And yeah, thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thanks for having us.